When storms are a-brewin', we often panic over the status of our prized possessions, our valuables, and our family if we're forced to evacuate. But what about our pets? When Mother Nature releases her fury on Earth, vulnerable pets are often left to fend for themselves at the peak of said fury. As a massive storm blew towards the East Coast, Tennessee resident Tony Alsup couldn't stand thinking about those abandoned pets. Unable to put the animals from his mind, he set out on a special mission that would either make him a hero or end his life altogether. Tony Alsup from Greenback, Tennessee is just another average Joe. At least that's what he'd say if you asked him. But the truth about this Joe's life proves he's anything but ordinary. While Tony made a living as a truck driver, he put his career on hold more than once. There were more important things in life than hauling cargo, he knew. At least certain kinds of cargo. See, when Hurricane Irma blasted the East Coast, costing over $77 billion in damages, Tony knew there were more lives at stake than just human ones. Animals abandoned in evacuations were as good as gone without help. So, putting his career on hold, Tony used his truck to pick up helpless animals from the environmental mess associated with the hurricane. And a month later, he stepped up in a different way to help animals affected by Hurricane Maria. Although he didn't technically rescue animals during the Category 5 Hurricane Maria, Tony assured startled horses were being fed well. But Mother Nature wasn't done. She had another storm up her sleeve, and she threw the toughest challenge yet at Tony. Hurricane Florence caused tremendous damage in the Carolinas during September of 2018, mostly due to freshwater flooding. South Carolina was a wreck, and once again there were plenty of animals left helpless. When Tony heard about the storm, he took action and came to town to rescue the animals. After all, rescuing pets abandoned during evacuations is something he'd been doing for years. But this time he quickly encouraged a pretty serious problem. He planned on transporting the animals out of harm's way as he always had with his truck. But he realized that to make a real difference, he needed a bigger vehicle. That's where an old school bus came into the picture. He removed the seats from the bus and filled it with crates, pet food, water bowls, leashes, and toys to temporarily house as many animals who were abandoned in the wake of South Carolina's Hurricane Florence as possible. Even this, though, wasn't enough for him. Tony aspired to open his own animal shelter in the future, but for the time being, his makeshift shelter appropriately went by the name of his passion project, the Emergency Animal Rescue Service, or EARS. Well, on the bus down south, he alerted his Facebook friends his bus had room for more animals, asking them to notify him of known locations where animals needed help. Tony wrote in his post, "No one left behind," before ending with his signature, "Love y'all, mean it." And he did mean it. Tony Alsup loaded up his shelter on wheels with 53 dogs and 11 cats from 4 towns: North Myrtle Beach, Dillon, Georgetown, and Orangeburg. Soon he garnered national notoriety. The St. Francis Animal Center had sweet words to say about Tony on Facebook, writing, "It's all true. Tony swooped in at 4 a.m. Wednesday morning to pick up our leftovers." The post continued, "The dogs with blocky heads, the ones with heartworm, the ones no one else will ever take," the post went, and he got them to safety. Not the most conventional evacuation, but surely the one with the most heart. Tony, who quickly became known for his act of kindness, told the Greenville News, "It's so easy for people to adopt the small pets. We take on the ones that deserve a chance, even though they're big and a little ugly. But I love dogs and we find places for them." His journey wasn't over, however. With the animals on the bus, Tony took the fur balls to his friend Angela E. Maddox's privately owned dog shelter in Foley, Alabama. For a change, the neglected animals were about to be in for a treat. Angela cleaned up the fur babies, giving them a rightfully deserved spa treatment and housing them until the two could find additional shelters or foster homes for the animals. Wonderfully, several people came to Angela's shelter to adopt cats and dogs on the spot. While after Tony's planning, 40 others were brought to willing animal shelters and volunteers in Knoxville, Tennessee. The remaining bunch, meanwhile, were sent to various shelters around the country that had room to hold more adoptable furry friends. He took his mission seriously. After a long charitable trip, Tony Alsup took a break to devour a well-deserved meal of waffles and grits at a Waffle House near Fayetteville, North Carolina, where he chatted with the Washington Post. Tony told reporters, animals, especially shelter pets, they always have to take the back seat of the bus, but I'll give them their own bus. If I have to, I'll pay for all the fuel or even a boat to get those dogs out of there. Please share this with your friends and family.